0 hours, 0 minutes, and 0 seconds. My name is Amanda, and I'm 29 years old. My mom said the whole family was coming for Thanksgiving, but I wasn't welcome. She didn't soften it, didn't pause, didn't even lower her voice. She said it like she was reading a grocery list, like it was the most reasonable thing in the world. This year is about your sister. Don't ruin it. Those exact words burned into my chest. I remember standing in my tiny kitchen, phone pressed to my ear, watching steam rise from a mug I hadn't even realized I poured, feeling like I'd been quietly 0 hours, 0 minutes, and 29 seconds erased from my own family without a vote. A few minutes later, before I could even process it, my sister texted me, "Don't come. The guest list is final." No explanation, no apology, just a digital door slammed shut. I didn't argue. That part still surprises people when I tell this story. They expect screaming, tears, some dramatic confrontation. But I was tired. Tired of fighting to be included. Tired of being told when to speak and when to disappear. So I did something I'd been avoiding for years. I took the 0 hours, 0 minutes, and 58 seconds out-of-state transfer I'd always turned down. I packed my life into boxes while everyone else planned centerpieces and seating charts. I signed paperwork while they debated pies. I told myself it was fine, that I didn't need Thanksgiving dinners or forced smiles to validate my place in the world. I told myself I was free. But the truth is, it hurt more than I admitted. It wasn't just a holiday. It was the message underneath it. You don't belong here. The move happened fast. New city, new office, new apartment that smelled like fresh paint. 0 hours, 1 minute, and 27 seconds, and loneliness. Thanksgiving came and went. I worked late, ordered takeout, and pretended it was just another Thursday. I didn't stalk social media. I didn't ask questions. I didn't want to see proof that the whole family was together, laughing, while I sat alone in a place that still didn't feel like home. Then 1 week later, my dad called. He never calls. He texts short texts, practical texts. "Did you get the documents? What time is your flight?" So when I saw his name light up my phone, my stomach dropped. I answered, and 0 hours, 1 minute, and 58 seconds before I could say hello, he blurted out, "They're changing the locks." His voice wasn't angry. It wasn't calm either. It was panicked, shaky, like someone realizing too late that they'd made a mistake they couldn't undo. For a second, I didn't even understand what he meant. "Who's they?" I asked, already knowing the answer. "Your mom, your sister. They think since you moved it's cleaner, easier, cleaner." Like I was clutter. Like my childhood bedroom, my spare key. My last thread of belonging was something to be scrubbed away. I 0 hours, 2 minutes, and 29 seconds laughed. Not because it was funny, but because my brain couldn't find any other response. The house he was talking about wasn't just their house. It was the one I'd grown up in. The one I'd helped pay for when Dad was laid off years ago. The one where my name was still on the emergency contact list, but apparently not on the welcome list. Dad kept talking, words tumbling over each other. He said he didn't agree with it. He said he tried to slow them down. He said, "I thought you should know." That was when it hit me. This wasn't a warning. It was 0 hours, 2 minutes, and 59 seconds a confession. He wasn't calling to stop it. He was calling because it was already happening. After we hung up, I sat on the floor of my new apartment and stared at the wall until it got dark. Every memory I had of that house came rushing back. Birthdays, arguments, late night talks with Dad at the kitchen table. And layered over all of it was this sick realization. I'd been uninvited from Thanksgiving, and now I was being quietly evicted from my past. I replayed my mom's words in my head. "This year is about your sister. Don't 0 hours, 3 minutes, and 31 seconds ruin it." I replayed my sister's text. "Don't come. The guest list is final." I finally understood something I'd been avoiding for a long time. This wasn't about a holiday. It wasn't about seating or timing or stress. It was about control, about choosing who mattered and who didn't, and assuming the person pushed aside would stay quiet. But Dad's call changed something. The panic in his voice told me this wasn't going the way they planned. It told me that while I'd been building a new life, something back home was unraveling. I didn't know yet 0 hours from minutes and 1 second what they were afraid of, or why my absence suddenly mattered so much. But I could feel it. The balance had shifted. I didn't argue when I was told not to come. I didn't beg when they shut the door. I just left. And now somehow that decision had turned into a problem big enough that my dad was calling me, saying the words that would echo in my mind all night long. They're changing the locks. And that was only the beginning. I didn't sleep that night. My dad's voice kept replaying in my head, sharper every time. He was panicking. 0 hours from minutes and 32 seconds, and I'd never heard him like that before. By morning, I had 3 missed calls from him, and 1 text from my mom that simply said, "We need to talk." Not please, not are you okay. Just another attempt to control the narrative. I didn't reply. I went to work, sat through meetings, nodded at the right moments, and felt like I was floating outside my own body. Something was happening back home. And for the first time in my life, it didn't feel like I was the one about to lose. That afternoon, my dad called again. I 0 hours 5 minutes and 2 seconds answered. He didn't even pretend this time. He said, "Your sister is furious. Your mom is crying." And nobody expected this to blow up the way it did. I asked him what this was. He exhaled hard and told me the truth they'd been dancing around. The house. The same house they were so quick to lock me out of. The same one they thought I'd quietly walk away from. Turns out my name was still tied to more than just memories. Years ago, when Ned was laid off, I'd co-signed a refinancing agreement to keep them afloat. I didn't brag about 0 hours 5 minutes and 31 seconds it. I didn't remind them. I trusted my family. And when I moved out of state, that agreement didn't magically disappear. Their plan to change the locks triggered a legal review. Paperwork resurfaced. Questions were asked. Suddenly, the house they thought they fully controlled wasn't as simple as they believed. That's when my sister realized something else, too. The transfer I took, the one tool I'd turned down for years, came with a salary bump, benefits, stability, independence. While she was hosting Thanksgiving and 0 hours 6 minutes and 2 seconds curating guest lists, I'd quietly stepped into a life where I didn't need their permission anymore. And that terrified them because the story they told themselves was that I needed them, that I'd always come back, that I'd stay small enough to manage. My mom finally called me that evening. Her tone was different, softer, almost rehearsed. She said she didn't mean to hurt me. She said family dynamics are complicated. She said, "You know how your sister is." I listened without interrupting. Then I said something I'd never said before. I 0 hours 6 minutes and 32 seconds told her being uninvited from Thanksgiving wasn't the problem. Being told I didn't belong was I told her I didn't argue because I was done begging for space at a table I helped build. Silence. Then she said they were just stressed. That the locks were a misunderstanding. That maybe we could all sit down and talk like adults. I almost laughed again, not out of bitterness this time, but clarity. They didn't want to talk when they had the power. They wanted to talk when they realized they didn't. My dad called later that night. He sounded exhausted. 00 to 7:02 he admitted he was scared. Scared of losing the house. Scared of losing me. He said, "I didn't think you'd really leave." That sentence told me everything. They never thought I'd choose myself. They thought I'd stay frozen in the role they assigned me. The accommodating one. The backup plan. The invisible support beam holding everything up. I didn't yell. I didn't threaten. I simply told him I wasn't coming back for damage control. I wasn't flying home to smooth things over. If they wanted peace, it had to start with 0 hours 7 minutes and 30 seconds respect, not panic. I reminded him that I didn't ruin Thanksgiving. I removed myself. And the chaos that followed wasn't my doing. It was the consequence of years of taking me for granted. A week later, I got another message from my sister. This one was longer, defensive, accusatory. She said I was being dramatic, that I was holding the family hostage, that I always made things about me. I read it once and didn't respond. For the first time, I didn't feel the need to explain myself. I didn't need to prove my worth to 0 hours 7 minutes and 59 seconds people who only noticed it when it was gone. They never changed the locks. Not because they suddenly cared how it made me feel, but because they couldn't. And that's the part that still gets me. I was uninvited from Thanksgiving. I was told, don't come. The guest list is final. I was made to feel disposable. Yet, the moment I stopped showing up on demand, everything started to fall apart. I'm still in that new city. My apartment feels like mine now. I host my own holidays. I build my own table. Sometimes my dad texts. Sometimes my mom 0 hours 8 minutes and 30 seconds tries to act like nothing happened. The dynamic has shifted and they feel it. I do too. The difference is I'm no longer afraid of it. If there's one thing I learned, it's this. When people only value you when you're convenient, leaving is the most powerful thing you can do. Not to punish them, but to save.